Hello and welcome to the Empowered Couples Podcast, where here you get modern, non-boring relationship advice for you and your partner to communicate like pros, fight smarter, and stay on the same team no matter the challenge that you face. I am one of your hosts, Aaron Freeman.
And I'm Jocelyn Freeman, but you all just know us as the Freemans.
This episode is about why marriages become bland and how to keep it feeling fresh.
And the word bland is very intentional, right? Think about food, okay? So it's not spoiled, it's not rotten, it's edible. You know, it can sustain you. It's just kind of meh, and we've all had those seasons. And frankly, we're doing this episode because we need a little freshness in our relationship. We need a little tune up to add a little excitement because we have those seasons where it does become a little bit more routine and we are missing a little zest in the partnership.
Well, when you think about from the beginning of a relationship, like when you're dating, when you're probably engaged, even the first year of marriage, let's say, probably for most, the first half of the first year, even of marriage. But you do find yourself in a place where it's like you want to text them like all the time and you just want to be around them. You're excited to see them just being in their presence, right? And there's a lot of that excitement type of feeling, a lot of freshness and a lot of newness. Now, of course, that is the case because you're still really getting to know each other, patterns and habits. You know, some people out there say you're on your best behavior. And in a sense, I don't know. Let's see. Do you think it's not like false? Mm-hmm. You're not like putting on some sort of mask.
Right. It's not a mask. I think it's in the beginning of anything as human beings, we're so much more engaged. Like think about when you get a new job that you're excited about. You're looking good. You're dressed nicely. You maybe bring coffee to your coworker. Oh, hey, you show up to meetings energized. And then I can even remember back to when we had jobs, which is a while from now. And I remember.
I was just thinking like you're really friendly to like the outcast in the work environment that no one likes. And you're like, you engage with them, like you bring them snacks.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like a few months
and later you're a part of the group and you're like, yeah, that person. Yeah. No one talks to them.
Barely doing, we do the bare minimum. And I think that's as human beings. Think about a new car, right? Like some people now, sure, they're the OCD people like Aaron who literally keeps yours flawless.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. But I it's interesting. I do find myself, there is a period of time, we're about there. It's like about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. I keep the inside really clean still, but I don't wash the exterior like even close to the amount that I used to.
So as human beings, our psychology, our nature is excited, putting a lot of intention and focus into something when it's new. And then when something starts to become just the norm or that thing we already know it's there, we start just kind of doing the bare minimum. Unfortunately, I think as human beings, one thing is we're trying to preserve energy. If you think about it, like we're actually trying to, just preserve energy. And so it's like, what is the least amount I can do to sustain this thing right now?
Yeah. We'll be going more into this when we do an episode on the differences between men and women. But I've been learning even more now that new experiences are really important, especially for men. New experiences drive dopamine. Dopamine actually increases testosterone, and testosterone has great impacts for men in particular. Mm-hmm. And so there is something to say about this newness. Now, let's get down to some of the practical. So there are 6 human needs. You've either heard us say this on a long time episode before, or maybe you've seen someone like Tony Robbins talk about this principle. Now, 6 human needs. We want to talk about just 2 of them. Mm-hmm. It's certainty and uncertainty. Now, these are base human needs that all of us have to fulfill. Our previous conversation is about that 2 of the 6 will jump to the top for any given individual. But we all need to feel a certain level of certainty and uncertainty. That's certainty being safety and security, uncertainty being spontaneity, variety, newness, and freshness. Now, here's pretty much what happens. In the beginning of a relationship, you, by default, naturally, without having to do anything, have a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah. Ooh, are they going to kiss me tonight? Yeah. Are they going to text me today?
Ooh, we're going to break the physical touch barrier.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know their patterns, their habits. You don't have any real structure. You don't have any experience of how they're going to act. You don't have any expressed expectations. So there are a lot of things. In a sense, that's how you get to know someone. So what you're doing in the beginning of a relationship is moving a certain amount of uncertainty to the certainty. And that's what we call trust, like building trust, getting to know someone,
Getting in a committed relationship.
moving into commitment, moving into love. So that's actually what you're doing. You're moving and filling the certainty tank. But in a sense, when you're not paying attention to it, you're actually trading the uncertainty for the certainty.
And like 100% certainty, and there's like almost no uncertainty.
And that's pretty much what we're talking about here, right? This is where things can feel bland or stagnant or kind of mundane or average or, as you said earlier, Groundhog Day-ish. And so it's really about intentionally, because you do want to fill the certainty tank, but things will get boring if you don't keep an eye on the uncertainty. So you have to basically intentionally create newness and freshness and variety and spontaneity to keep that desire, that passion, that thrill, that newness alive.
And we're going to give you some ideas for that, and actually a fun daily activity we're going to invite you into in a few minutes. I love how you described the certainty versus uncertainty. And one additional element I want to present is how each season calls for different proportions. Right. So, for example, in the newborn stage, we work with a lot of couples who either have their first baby or they're having their second. And of course, we work with couples way beyond that as well. But we can tell in that beginning season, I mean, even our year, right? We're nearing the end of our first year as parents. And it has been a year of creating certainty together. How are we going to handle parenting? How are we going to handle sleep? We're home all the time. We see each other. There's really not like these little surprises for each other. Of course, there's surprising parts of parenting, but it's like the routine we're getting down basically. So my point is, with us and then these couples who are in that kind of new stage of parenting, it's really about, we need structure. We need to feel like a team. We need to feel like I can count on you. What's our plan? But then other couples, for example, we're working with, who are more in that empty nest stage. Their kids have grown up and now they kind of have this new sense of freedom. They're craving more uncertainty right now. Like, okay, we've done that parenting thing. We've got this new sense of freedom. And now I want to feel like we're dating again. And how do we kind of get out of this rut? So each season is calling for different proportions. And for you listening, in this season of life for you, what are you craving? And what percentages? I know it's kind of an arbitrary thing to kind of make up, but just in your mind, are you feeling like you need 30% more uncertainty right now? Do you need just a little sprinkle, or is actually there too much uncertainty? You don't feel as though there's like a lot of stability between you and your partner, and you're actually craving more certainty. So just check in with yourself. What are you needing more of in this season of life that you're in as a couple?
And let's give some examples of what this might also look like. You had some good examples, actually. And even before I say that, I was listening more to Esther Perel, actually, and she had a great point about, once you're in a committed marriage, then you've got them. Like, they're not leaving. She was saying this in the context to the conversation or the question, how can a partner be mean or disrespectful to their partner even more so than they would a stranger? And the example she gave was, well, because a stranger's going to punch you in the face.
If you're like rude, yelling at them or something.
If you're at work, you're going to get fired. So there are basically consequences to how you show up. And in a marriage, one of the things that happen is you feel like you got them. And so now you're more free to do whatever because they're not going to leave you.
Ooh.
So it is kind of like a interesting dichotomy between marriage being something that you're in forever, but the other side of being in something forever is you can't get fired. You can't get punched in the face.
Which almost means like it can have you slack too much.
Yes,
the
you
effort
slack,
goes down.
the effort goes down. And so to some of the examples, it's interesting if you think about this first one, how you greet each other when you get home.
Yeah, so when you're dating, I can even think to us, it's like, I greet you at the door. I'm looking
You're like
cute.
looking out the window, waiting.
I look cute. I already have, like candles lit, right? And then the greeting changes to like, oh, hey, or, just,
Or when did you get home? I've been home for 2 hours.
or like immediately, hey, I need you to do this. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
big one too,
Yeah.
right? Not really doing like a kiss and a hug and actually greeting each other. So that's one. I think it also is in how you do a lot of small things for each other in the beginning. Getting them a cup of coffee. Getting them a little lunch, surprising them with things. So I think that's another one too, is like the small things and then the little surprises, which lends to the uncertainty. So in the beginning of the partnership, you're thinking of like, how can I surprise? Oh, I can bring them lunch. Ooh, let me make them their favorite meal. Let me wear lingerie tonight. Obviously, I'm thinking more from the female brain, right? You'd have to give us some examples from men, but it's like, how can I just bring in that little bit of surprise? And now it's like, I'm not surprising you a whole lot right now. You know what I'm going to wear to bed. You know how I'm going to be when I wake up. How I'm going to be when I wake up. Like, we can know each other's routine. So the small things and the surprises can start to decline. What else can you see?
Well, there's a whole offshoot, I think, from that. Just really looking at the places where the effort, I think, has gone down, the thoughtfulness. And I think it does come from that whole thing of like, obtain. I think I like that word. You've already obtained it. So you don't even think about what new things can I bring about to elicit some excitement, some enthusiasm,
Freshness.
have them be more interested in me, have them see that I am the partner for them. So it's really all those things, right? And then all of the thoughts or ideas that come to you. Like when we first got together, we lived in your
Condo.
And so I think even when I knew you were coming home in these early days, I would like hide in the bush
Not
or
to,
around
like,
the building and
just to
like
be
jump
funny.
out, and surprise you. And it was those things that I was looking to create some excitement. I think I remember I was in the parking lot and I like hid behind some cars.
Oh my, you sound all like you're trying to scare me. You guys, he's not like a creep, okay? He's trying to be funny. He's very lighthearted, like that playful side of you. That's actually another word we could add in. In the beginning, there's more playfulness, and then you can become pretty serious. And it's like the dish, that darn cup, right? And one more word I want to add
Let me
in.
ask,
Yeah.
it almost does seem like you don't have time for it anymore. So that might be
Definitely.
something that someone that's listening is saying, because it is effort. So it's playfulness, it's fun, and then all those activities seem to takes effort, it takes time from doing the activities, the management of life. And maybe there's something we need to do to reprioritize the actual time and effort it takes for the playful things that, yes, do take the time. And it's actually worth it we'll just go with the dishes since you said it, not wash the dish or not organize something or not put kids' clothes away or wash your own clothes and put those away, right? So all those things like, I'm just always doing tasks and the management rather than taking the time and the effort for the playful things.
I would add, though, it could be about how you do the things, too. You may have dishes to do, but can you do it with music on? That's something I forget sometimes. It's like, man, we could have music on right now, and we could be, here's the word I want to add in, flirting. So this is going to lead to this invitation we have for you guys in a minute for just a fun daily activity. I don't want to spoil it, so that'll be in just a couple minutes here. But the flirting, we can do the dishes flirting. We can be cleaning up while flirting. We can walk past each other with a little flirtation. And so, yes, there's more life management. Of course, our life looks so different now than when we were first together. I actually saw a time hop on Facebook the other day and I was like, we look like such kids, like we're so young when we were first together. And yes, life becomes more complex. It does become more full, more roles, more responsibilities, especially, as we have children and things like that. And we can still find ways that we can do the things we have to do, but with a little bit more playfulness, with a little bit more flirting. And so should we tell them the invitation we have now?
Yes, and we're not going to give you specifics. And Jocelyn reminded me this would be a better way to do it. We're going to leave these 5 flirty moments that we want you to do daily open to you. Not give you any specifics like you have to do this or that. But I just want to paint the picture here that this whole marriage game, it's an ongoing race, and not to think of it as something that you've already finished.
I love that. Yeah, it's like, how do we ongoingly try to impress each other a little bit, ongoingly try to get each other's attention and admiration from each other? So in whatever season you're in right now, and you may be in the thick of the parenting, you might be empty nesters, you might be in a hard season in your marriage, wherever you are, what we want to challenge you to do to create more freshness, to create more desire and intentionality is start this daily challenge with us called 5 flirty moments. You don't have to sign up for this. We'd love it if you would like tag us in a post or a story if you're doing it. Like maybe you have some kind of a flirty moment and then you take a picture and you tag us, Meet the Freemans on Instagram. We want to create this kind of movement of just 5 flirty moments. And so you could be just some examples, not saying these are the ones, but instead of just walking by each other in the hallway, smack the bum a little bit. Yep. Instead of just saying like, oh, goodbye, have a good day, be like, dang, you are looking handsome today.
Maybe grab them and dip them and give them a really passionate kiss before they go.
I heard I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was some kind of a show. This is a good idea that I think we could try too, is kind of giving each other a little tease that intimacy could happen that night or is going to happen. Be like, hey, meet you in the bedroom at 8 p.m., right? Like to create that flirting and fun and that uncertainty with each other a little bit more, because why this is beneficial is it's a love deposit. Maybe you've heard one of our previous episodes talk about these love deposits, but all those small things add up. But especially, I think it's not just giving the cup of coffee just to give it to them, but it's the energy in which you're doing it.
Or attitude.
Yeah, it's not just kissing them goodbye. It's the energy in which you're kissing them goodbye. So add a little flirtation into your day. So take on with us 5 flirty moments daily. Tag us, please. We want to know that you're doing this, or message us in some way. We are taking this on because, Aaron, frankly, we need a little freshness, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we have very predictable, scheduled out days with podcasts and clients and web classes and emails and responding to things, and we work from home here, and we're always here. So
right,
yeah, baby and feeding and cleaning, and
we've been together
and sleeping
a while.
And, yeah, well, I was thinking about this too. For almost 7 years, we spent every day, almost every hour. Not very many hours have gone by in 7 years that we haven't been together.
And we've been together for more than 7 years, you guys, but that's just us being in business together all the time. So you're right. So if you're taking this on, please let us know 5 flirty moments so that your partnership becomes a little fresher rather than bland, right? We want a juicy meal, not a bland meal. So with that, we really hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you do enjoy our podcast, would you take 2 seconds to write a review for us on the platform in which you listen? Like hit the 5 stars, write a sentence. It really makes a difference for us to spread the word. And please let us know how we can support you. We love getting messages on Instagram. Book a relationship breakthrough session with us. That's a 2-on-2 session that can be done online from anywhere in the world. And you can check out all of our programs and resources at meetthefreemans.com. With that, we love you all, and we will talk to you on the next episode.